Good evening, welcome. We're gonna have ourselves a night of Dota 2. We're gonna see 3 best of 1 games, and they're all for the same tournament. Surprise! You are watching the Spring Cup, and we're gonna see 3 games in total, as said. However, there's more games in total to be played, because we're gonna follow the entire playout of Group A. Now, it's a GSL-style group stage. That means that it's a mini double elimination brackets, or if you want to call it differently, each team has to have 2 wins and then they make it to the next round. We're going to see 4 teams. Our first 2, then we're going to see our Balkan Bears taking on Hehe United. And of course, I am not alone for this series. I am joined by G Advance. Welcome to the broadcast.
What's up? I am here. Yeah.
Yes. So, hehe United, we know that team, and I think a lot of people know the team as well. I mean, they are in Division 1 of the Join Dota League, and just a team that is, an amateur-ish team. Well, not really, how do I say that? A Tier 2, Tier 3-ish team, considered that by the public, but one that is known, unlike the Balkan Bears.
Hehe, we see them like a fair amount. They've done some pretty good stuff. I think most people who are really into stuff will know probably all these players. I think I've seen some of the names on Balkan Bears before. I think I've seen Mitza before. I don't know what on what team. I might be completely mental.
I have to say I don't share the same feeling about Mitza, but I'm always interested. First of all, the Balkan Bears. Like, seriously.
It's a pretty sick name.
Exactly. Who would not want to support a team with and a bear in the logo, and bears in the title, and an alliteration with bears? Balkan Bears!
Bears everywhere.
I know, it's, that's already, I love that. What I don't love is that they have to actually play with 2 stand-ins. And that makes me actually kind of worried.
That's always kind of saddening. But, I mean, they've managed to get their way through qualifiers to get here. There was, I think, a fairly large qualifier, actually, to get into this.
Correct.
So, at the very least, they've proved themselves a little bit. Neither of us have seen them play, though.
Yeah.
So, interesting drafting for them, actually. Doom Disruptor is a very... Both of those are heroes you could potentially pick up very early, but I don't think I've seen any team in a long time pick them up together right at the start like that.
At the first 2, yeah. And especially, I think we've seen Disruptor a lot more lately. Also because Fnatic had some astounding results by just getting, even losing the game up until the point where Disruptor gets an Aghanims and then they win the game. I think that's can be said for a lot of their games, or a lot of Disruptor games in general. And I'm kind of curious to see, if they're going to run the S4 or S5 support. I mean, that it is support, yeah, that's, expected. But is it going to be one that's going to be given a bit priority to farm, to get some items off? I would really like to see an Aghanims Disruptor. Oh,
I'd love to see it. I think it's kind of unlikely, though.
Wow. Pessimist? Much?
I'm sorry. My thinking here, right, is generally when we see Doom picked up, oftentimes we've seen it being picked up in actually a sort of semi-4 role, or as a 3 role that goes into the jungle. And that means that perhaps there won't be as much space for Disruptor to pull and make some sort of extra gold come around. So I think we're more likely to see him as a 5 position. I think he's a great 5 position as well. He's one of those heroes who really can get away with nothing but brown boots into the very late game. But Balkan Bears, actually, they've got a very interesting combo here with Disruptor Ember Spirit. You can trap everybody in the field and lay down the hurt.
Yeah, blow them up. Ember Spirit,
and very
by the
good
way,
chase as well.
Yeah, and Ember Spirit, a hero that hehe United actually also plays, so I'm wondering if they are not kind of sad that they have been, basically deprived of their Ember Spirit. I think that's the word.
10 seconds remaining.
Marana banned out. I like the ban, because if I see Shadow Demon picked up first, or first-ish, I mean, hehe United hereby, we're going to assume, has their support combination ready. I mean, there's a small chance, of course, Shadow Demon and Dazzle, both heroes that potentially, there's this itchy-bitty tiny chance that they are going to be solo mid, but supports are there, and of course the combination of supports is really awesome as well. Disruption, create illusions, heal illusions, extra pain from that weave, from the Dazzle, the Shadow Weave. But you want to have something that also follows up on the disruption, like an arrow, for example, or torrent, if you're going to be Kunkka. So I liked the Marana ban. I mean, in terms of bans, apart from the Marana, I mean, Tinker, A, Invoker, a lot of globalness removed by Balkan Bears. Just all three heroes that I just mentioned have some way of having an impact on the game at some point of the map. Invoker only, of course, if he goes for Exort. And he united, removed some push with the Naga and the Lycan, and also the Lich and the Nyx Assassin removed. And I think Lich is also removed because of that. I mean, the wombo combo from Disruptor and Ember Spirit is going to be even more painful if you have a Chain Frost bouncing around between people stuck in a kinetic field.
Yeah, and both teams here looking like they're going to pick up a sort of 5-man fighting lineup early. Well, not particularly early, but at the very least on hehe, they want to go mid-game with it, because they picked up a Darkseer who needs a lot of levels before he actually does 5-man, but he 5-man's hard. And Balkan Bears seem to be taking up the same sort of thing. It's a little bit difficult to understand their draft at this point. I think it's very interesting, though, the different things that they can do. One thing I mentioned it already, is they have ridiculous chasing potential at this point. With Disruptor, Ember Spirit, if Balkan Bears start winning the fight, the chances are hehe are going to get 5-man wiped, because their heroes are so good at cleaning up on people who are trying to get out. And now Venge as well, another hero who's great at moving people around the map. Disruptor, Venge, both those, the two scariest thing about them is that they can move somebody, into a position they don't want to be in, which is something that's pretty rare in Dota. There's only things like Hook and Glimpse and Swap that can really do it.
Yeah. Oh, you want to surge? We'll swap you back in. Oh, you're still surging away. No problem. Glimpse. You're dead. It's pretty scary, to be honest. I like the Spectre pickup. A fairly tanky carry. I mean, they needed a carry still. I like it because it's a tanky carry, and with all the situations that we just said, creating some chaos with the Haunt is actually really good, because you don't know who to swap, who to stun, who to glimpse, and all that. On the other hand, I mean, it's a fairly passive one. I mean, he's not going to be doing a lot of stuff with that Dazzle Shadow Demon combination.
Yeah, the thing with Spectre is you have a very interesting playstyle on Spectre, which is that you basically split push and then turn up to the fights by ulting. She is pretty good versus Ember Spirit, but like you say, she's actually very passive as far as what she does. She's not even, a very active split pusher like an anti-mage that pushes the lanes very hard and pushes down towers very hard. She's actually quite slow at pushing. She's relatively slow at farming until she gets a proper item to do it. So there's a few things that make running Spectre in this lineup pretty dangerous. Yeah. They do have great supports to, keep her alive. It's going to be very difficult to kill a Spectre when you can Shadow Demon Disrupt, say if the Venge stun is coming in, or something like that, and you can also heal him up and Grave with the Dazzle. So Balkan Bears might have issues with actually picking targets within the fights, but like I said, if they win the fight, things are going to look real bad for hehe.
Yeah, I agree. I'm really curious to see what kind of mid-hero they still want to pick up. Of course, that mid-hero is the one to hold Balkan Bears at bay. And, I mean, you already said Darkseer, fairly mid-game oriented. Spectre, late-game oriented. And even though Dazzle and Shadow Demon can do something on the laning phase, if they don't succeed, they're going to be falling behind real fast. So they need really something that can do something early on already. Storm would have been a good one that can really already be active fairly early on. Queen of Pain is one of them, even though we haven't seen her in a while. But something that can be
I love me
active.
Queen of Pain.
I would like to see Queen of Pain. However, I guess, I mean, with the Flame Guard from the Ember Spirit, it might not be the best one to go for. And on top of that, this is maybe an Ember Spirit mid, because Disruptor, Vengeful Spirit, I'm going to kind of assume that those are the two supports. Put Doom on a safe lane or off lane. Yet to be seen. Of course, Ember can be mid. We've seen him in all kinds of roles. But I'm kind of thinking mid. He's very difficult to deal with mid. He can
be very difficult to deal with, but the thing is you can free farm on most heroes against him and
but
not die unless
him.
you're... Yeah, you can't stop him farming. That's pretty much a given, because, I mean, he can bottle Crow, and he's very, very tanky to any magic damage, so unless you pick a hero who just does physical damage, like a Dazzle, Balkan Bear's actually picking up a Viper, so I think they could still run the aggressive tri-lane. They might even do it with the Embo, but that's very dangerous considering how much XP you want. They could do it with the Viper as well. Balkan Bears have a lot of options here.
To be honest, if they go for an aggressive tri-lane and they don't lose it, I mean, there's a difference, of course, between winning and losing it, but if they don't lose that aggressive tri-lane, that means that the Shadow Demon and the Dazzle haven't really been able to be as successful as I'm expecting they want to be. And I would almost say, well, to the loser bracket with you. I mean, it's all best of
and
ones.
hehe. Yeah, this is all best of ones, and hehe right now, they need a hero who can do some physical damage. Okay, they're gonna pick...
Ooh,
Is that solo mid Nature's Prophet?
or is it solo mid? Shadow Demon. Hey, was S4 not playing Shadow Demon yesterday at some game? I think so, but I'm not sure if he was actually
I don't
supported or
know.
not because he had some lag issues. I didn't actually see the game. I know he played that hero though.
Either way, I'm very worried for his lineup right now, because the big problem they have is they have one core damage dealer on their team, who they're relying on doing a fair amount of damage, and the enemy team does have a Doom. They also have a fantastic Tricore, with Ember and Viper as their other core heroes, who are going to be doing a lot of damage. I mean, let's be fair, Ember Spirit in particular does an absolute ton of damage. So, and he's very mobile as well. So, this is all things that can work versus Spectre. Yeah, I think Balkan Bears have a very interesting draft here. It's unusual. I don't think you'd see many other teams with a draft like this, but I think it could work very well.
It could work. It's tricky, but it can. I mean, everything is possible. It's Dota, after all. You know? So that's...
Not everything's possible.
Of course, everything is possible.
I've seen a Crystal Maiden try to take on an Ember Spirit. That's not possible.
Crystal Maiden taking on an Ember Spirit.
Yeah, one of my friends did it as a joke. He bet that he could beat one of
Solo
one
mid?
of our other friends. Yeah, solo mid, 1v1.
And the Crystal Maiden won?
No, he did not.
Did you see...
Even though he's by far better.
Starladder Season 9, Crystal Maiden has a 0% win rate.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
In Starladder Season, that hero's really strong though.
Yeah. It was...
Okay.
Vlad tweeted it out just an hour ago or so.
She hasn't actually been picked up that much.
True. Crystal Maiden has 0% win rate at the Starladder Season 9 matches.
That's very unusual. I have
Yes.
no idea why that would be.
Well, we don't see her here either, and she wasn't banned, so, you know, maybe she's just...
She's fallen out of favour kind of a bit. I think the thing is Ice Frog made her really, really stupid, and, you know, people just don't want that. Because her mana pool is awful now. That's one of the only problems I could think of.
Yeah, but you pick up 2 branches and you ask someone else to get, you know, to pull your support or to pull your carry or something, and you're fine again. Make someone else buy the courier.
Yeah.
And I mean, 2 branches and it's sorted. She can still jungle-ish. Although I have to say, lately we've seen more actual jungle heroes again, and things like Doom in the jungle, and a bit more greedy lineup, if you will. And Crystal Maiden doesn't fit in that because she kind of wants to have some farm too in the jungle if she is like part of a tricore. How do you say that? Like part of a duo support team. She is the one
she's
to
just
lead
one
the
of the
lane.
supports. She's always gonna.
Yeah.
She's always have to do a lot actually on Crystal Maiden. You pretty much rotate between farming and ganking constantly on that hero. There's not much downtime because you can always do something.
Well, let's
Whereas
see.
you know, some supports can't.
Yeah, let's see how the Balkan Bears are doing this game. I have to say, like, of course, this tournament overall, all the teams that are in this tournament are not that well known. But somehow that adds an extra special effect for me. I mean, everybody wants to cast Naveen Alliance. I want that too, don't get me wrong. But casting teams that are fairly unknown has a charm to it that, like, this could be the next big thing, you know? So I'm really hoping to see some great games from these teams. Hehe United will be on the Radiant side for this first game. By the way, it's best out of 1 game, so there's 1 chance. If you win 2 games in today, basically, then you move on to the playoffs. If you don't win 2 games, well, you're out. No second chances. So a moment we'll be playing the Dazzle. Chips Hayen will be playing the Shadow Demon. It will be Relo on the Spectre. We've got ourselves the Darkseer, played by, I know who this is, but he is not tagging under his name. I think it's HWA. Yeah, that's HWA on the Darkseer. And his will play the Nature's Prophet, who indeed, by the looks of it, will be moving towards the middle lane.
Yeah, interesting laning setup for Hehe here. On the side of the Balkan Bears, we do have an aggressive tri-lane coming out. It's going to be Spacey. He's on the support Disruptor. The other support's going to be the stand-in Dr. Man. He's there with Mitza on the Viper. And in the middle lane, it's going to be Licious picking up the Ember Spirit. I'm very interested in how he does this game. And last but not least, it's going to be Karag. I can't pronounce that. How do you pronounce a G and a K next to each other?
Karag.
What? But then where'd the K go?
Karagik.
seconds.
I don't
That's
know.
so awful. Either way, he's on the Doom on the top lane. A ton of tangos picked up on him. I think he's trying to go up against the Darkseer here. This is a very difficult lane matchup, but he can basically survive. And that's the crucial thing, is very few heroes can actually go 1v1 versus a Dazzle, especially because Dazzle, oddly enough, in this matchup... oh my god.
They're both purple.
Exactly. We thought the same thing. Yeah, few heroes can actually go 1v1 versus a Darkseer, especially, oddly enough, on this lane in particular, because this is the easiest lane for Darkseer to creep cut on.
Yeah.
Which is the worst thing about going at 1v1 versus Darkseer on the side lanes. It's why, oddly enough, I'd prefer to go... If you're going up versus a Darkseer, you'd rather do it in mid than on a side lane.
I have to say, I really like the wards so far from Balkan Bears. They are very conservative with them, which is kind of important. Well, he has already placed all of them. Both their sentries have not cut out an observer just yet, and they've placed their observers as well. Although I do like the observer ward on the lane. If you counter a ward... Oh, wait a second. This Disruptor is gonna be seen soon. I mean, there is a sentry ward there, but they actually don't have any vision there, so no, he's not seen. They know that they're up against an aggressive tri-lane. Who do you favor here in this aggressive tri-lane, by the way, with the Viper here?
To be honest, I think this tri-lane is more about who actually gets the farm rather than kills. You know, I think BB, or Balkan Bears, whatever you want to call them, they just have to focus... They just have to focus on making sure Spectre doesn't farm, right?
Yeah.
Because ultimately, they're running a tri-core. The side of hehe, they're running a single hero who's going to do physical damage. I mean, Furion will to an extent, but nothing compared to what Spectre can do. And really, if they go aggressive and try and get a kill, it's extremely hard to get a kill on this tri-lane, because there's a Dazzle in here, there's a Shadow Demon, they have great spells to stop people from dying, and the Furion can come in from the middle lane, TP in, and add a fourth person to this tri-lane. So I think it's more about farming and shutting down these pulls and stopping the Spectre from getting too many last hits than actually trying to get a kill here.
Well, Viper is a good one for that. I mean, Spectre, of course, is going to be having a tough time coming into range of a last hit, because the harassment from Viper, just free harassment with that poison attack. He actually went for poison attack level 1, I would assume purely for that reason. I mean, if you wanted to go for last hitting, you want to have that nether toxin up level 1, but purely for the harassment and for making sure that that Spectre is going to be thinking twice about coming into melee range. I think they're doing a good job so far. 4 last hits for Relo. And, I mean, it's a safe lane. Compare that to the Doom, who's on the safe lane as well, who has, as you mentioned, a very tough lane. He's actually highest on last hit, sitting on 10-4.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what this Doom goes for as well. I think this might be one of those just early Blink Dagger games. Get in there and be as aggressive as possible on Relo as soon as he gets the opportunity to. But for the moment, I think, yeah, I mean, look at how BB are positioning themselves. They're not actually looking to go on anybody. The one spot where they had a chance to was when the Disruptor was invisible.
Yeah.
He picked up that level 1 Invis rune, and they didn't even go for a kill then. They just used it to get some free harass out.
Yeah, and actually, they're forcing hehe to be the aggressive one, and that could turn south real fast as well. I mean,
especially because hehe have bad heroes to be aggressive with, right? They have kind of good zoning heroes.
You can disrupt, and then, you know, you have a lot of nuke damage with the weave, which he actually picked up first as well, which I find interesting to pick that up straight away without really needing it yet, because normally, if you see a Dazzle play, you'll normally wait with speccing something until he's sure that he will need that spell. But it's, actually, am I saying, yeah, he's saving 1 spell. Actually, he's only just got level 2, so...
He just got it, but he's still holding back on what he's actually picking here. And that's one of the biggest issues with Dazzle, actually, is actually skill builds on him, because you basically want to max everything and get your ulti. And because all the skills are like, they're so good, but just don't have enough skill points, and that's why we kind of wanted to see him mid. I wanted to see him mid as well, but
hey, this
that
Nature's
doesn't happen,
Prophet
sadly.
Is doing really well, by the way, in the middle lane. He's almost a level higher than Licious, and I mean, he is apparently now taking a lot of harassment, but overall, I think he's doing really well. He's sitting on 15-9, and Ember Spirit is sitting on 11-1, so the difference is not that big, but the difference in levels definitely is there, and that's of course also because he can use his Treants to clear out the camps. I kinda liking this Nature's Prophet mid. I mean, we already mentioned this is gonna be very difficult to stop an Ember Spirit from actually farming, but he's doing a good job.
close situation there. The Ember Spirit actually went in and missed the Searing Chains. He used the Searing Chains and actually hit 2 of the creeps instead. I think he might have killed the Nature's Prophet if he got in them, but Furion just TP'd out right in front of him. Yeah, I mean, Nature's Prophet, one of the big advantages about him is he can do the jungle camps at the same time as farming the middle lane. And he's a pretty long-ranged hero. He's not got bad base damage by any stretch of the imagination, so he hurts Ember Spirit pretty well. That said, if Ember gets a good opportunity, he will kill this Nature's Prophet. There's not enough HP on him, and I mean, Ember Spirit does a ton of damage.
Yeah, I'm really still curious to see who gets the first kill here, or if it's not going to happen on the bottom lane at all, because we do see Darkseer getting more and more aggressive and forcing the Doom more and more back. However, Doom actually has his Doom, so he might be turning on the Darkseer sometime soon as well. Or, better yet, which I'm actually hoping for, get a teleport, rotate bottom, and kill someone off here.
Yeah, just run in and doom somebody. It doesn't even matter who he goes for, because these heroes are all sort of reliant on each other in this tri-lane, as far as keeping each other alive. So if he dooms one, the chances are they'll get 2 or possibly even 3. Especially because they have great heroes for pulling people out of position. As we said before, Disruptor can glimpse one back. The Venge obviously being once she's got her boots, she'll be able to run someone down with a magic missile. And, I mean, Viper, who's going to run away from the Viper? So... yeah, I think getting a TP scroll and getting over here as fast as possible probably be a good option. For the moment, though, looks like he just wants to farm in the lane.
Yeah, maybe Ember is the one.
Oh, he's actually going to doom HWA.
Oh, perhaps is he really gonna... because I'm not sure if he can... no, he's not gonna get that. I mean, that was a bit too greedy. And now that they know that that Doom is not gonna be coming out, actually bottom lane had a bit of a go. Nobody gets anything. Ember actually coming in, looking for a chain, gets it up on 2. They go for the Shadow Demon. There is a grave from a moment, though, if he wants to. Disruption comes out first. Is there gonna be a heal in time? A moment. He has to use the grave on himself, and the first blood is the Shadow Demon that goes down, and it is the Disruptor, rather, that gets the kill. A moment forced that grave on himself, got forced on himself, and I mean, that basically cost Shadow Demon his life.
Yeah, and if the Viper then had his treads a little bit earlier, they would have lost another. And that's just an example of how much these heroes need each other in the tri-lane. They actually... it's a very weak tri-lane in a lot of ways. It's basically built around just protecting the Spectre, but the problem is that they just don't have the actual reach to do anything about it. I mean... Spectre is essentially a melee creep for a long time in games, and it is going to be like that for a while still, especially because she's not farming a huge amount. I mean, she's doing what she can. She's not got bad farm considering, but...
The one thing that is most painful, I think, for the Spectre right now, I mean, okay, she's got indeed not the greatest farm, but her levels. She has to share everything that she gets with 1 or 2 others, and that's really hurting her. She's still level 4. It's 7.5 minutes into this game. And of course, I mean, the supports... wait a second, they're gonna go again. Kinetic Field coming out, only hits on the Shadow Demon though, but it's also blocking Dazzle from going back. There is still a kill on the Vengeful Spirit, and Shadow Demon still got the credit for that. And with Nature's Prophet teleporting in from the mid lane, Viper sprouted up, goes down as well, and actually they get 2 kills going the way of the Spectre because he also got the kill on that Vengeful Spirit. All of a sudden, 3 kills. That is an aggressive tri-lane wiped out, I think, for the Bears. It's gonna be time to move on and think of something different to do. Because they can't let that happen
went for that kill then. I think that was overconfidence.
Yeah.
They had the opportunity to just back off. There was no reason to go in. They know the Furion can TP in at any time, and that's a perfect example of what I was talking about earlier, how their lane, whilst it's pretty good at killing, he's is so good at defending their lane that unless they get a great opportunity, they should just stop them from farming. You know, chill out, play the relaxed and slow game, because, I mean, whilst there's a Spectre on one side...
bottom lane again, they go for Spacey. Can he get himself out? Looks like Shadow Demon is gonna get picked up. Relo still wants to get a kill on the Disruptor though, with the stick charges, keeping Spacey up, and it's enough! It is the Spectre that goes down. Overextension right there. Maybe they can get a glimpse of on the Dazzle. No, they're not gonna try. And that's how they should have it.
Anyway.
I mean, there's now been 3 fights on the bottom lane, right? In total? First fight was actually initiated by hehe when the Darkseer got the Doom on him, so they figured, you know, there's no Doom coming in, so we're gonna go, and then BB turned it around. Next fight, BB initiated, they lost that one, and then just now, the Disruption came out first, so I think like hehe initiated and hehe lost, so I think we have a pattern. The one who initiates...
don't initiate in this lane.
Yes, loses. Don't initiate. It's very simple. It's very boring, but it's also very simple.
I mean, that's how it works when you have these defensive spells out. It's why defensive spells are actually rare in Dota, is because it means that initiation is not as strong, and both teams that are initiating these fights have been losing these fights.
Yeah.
And that's the effect of having all these defensive spells. It just means that they should have just been shutting down the Spectre's farm. They're actually going to smoke here. This is very interesting. And I think they might have been spotted out by a ward.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, there's a ward sitting right next to them. Nature's Prophet actually goes down in mid lane to the Ember Spirit. We're kind of following the
just
smoke,
Ember
though.
Spirit on his own.
Well, that's the start of the end, perhaps, for hehe. That's how Ember Spirit works. Once he starts to get big, there's really little you can do against him. And they look for the disruption. Can they find someone? They find the Viper. There's gonna be a heal coming from a moment as well. Do they have enough lockdown? I don't think so. The poison came out. It's still gonna result into a kill. And that is going to be the heals helping out there, of course. Relo is trying to get another kill, but yes, I mean, that is just a bit too greedy.
Relo is the greediest Spectre ever.
Oh, Vengeful Spirit is going to get the swap going into the creep wave. In comes the Ember, down goes the Dazzle. Nice swap coming out from Dr. Man. Oh, I like his name.
I was so confused why he was going to swap then, but it actually turned out to be a great play because he knew Lish was coming in, and that's just an example of good teamwork there. Even with the stand-in, that worked pretty well for them because they actually swapped him into the Fire Remnant. Smart move there.
Communication is key, and it looks like they have that covered. So far,
Yeah,
I mean,
they've got it.
Top lane is a bit underwhelming for me. Oh, actually, I don't say anything. In comes the Haunt. They want to try and take down this Doom, but Doom has got a Vanguard. Good luck. And in comes the teleports. Dr. Man first. Swap instantly. That's Doom out safe. Can they take down the Spectre? Kinetic Field, Static Storm. Oh, Vengeful Spirit still getting locked down, but Relo going down as well. Is 1 for 2 so far. 2 supports for the main carry, and the 2 on the top lane still alive. Now in comes Licious, and down goes the Darkseer, ending up in a 2 for 2. 2 supports for 2 cores. Not worth it whatsoever, including the
It looked like a
Hunters.
great turnaround from hehe after they actually managed to get the kills with the Furion ult, but they stayed too long, and the Spectre, while she's getting these kills, she is incredibly squishy right there at this point. She's just picked up a bracer, so beforehand she had like 830 something health and phase boots. That's pretty much it. So she's pretty fast, but if she gets caught out, if somebody turns around on her when she's going for these ganks, she dies very quickly. She basically needs to get her drums finished up right now, and then probably work on either a Diffusal or a Manta, because it seems pretty obvious to me that a Radiance is not happening this game.
And I think a Moment is spotted out. Yep, sentry wards all over the place. A Moment's gonna try to run. He's running out of range up the sentry again, and he might actually live to tell the tale. He's still got some stick charges as well. He'll be okay. In the meantime, there was a smoke up from the 2 other supports from the Balkan Bears, but not able to make something out of it apart from just making a standoff, because all of a sudden 5 people bottom lane for Balkan Bears. If they don't get blood or tower, that's going to be a huge waste of time, because Nature's Prophet is going to snipe the courier apparently. Hello, it's Dr. Man's Tegu that just got taken down. It's actually his name, but yeah, at least that's something that he gets. And I mean, the Balkan Bears, they're getting a tower, or should be getting a tower. If they don't get a tower, that's going to be actually horrible. But they're going to lose the tower mid as well. That's not worth it for the Bears at all.
Yeah, and here's where hehe's game plan comes out, right? Because they picked Spectre as well as Nature's Prophet, both heroes that can split push and then immediately turn up to a fight. So they can basically split push whenever they feel like it, as long as they know where the side of BB are, and they know, for instance, that the Ember Spirit isn't going to get them. Because he's actually going to be very key. If the Ember Spirit, or for instance the Doom, either of them are very, very mobile if they want to be. I think the Doom probably should go for like a Blink or something this game. That means that they can counter this split push, but for the moment...
Doom is in a lot of trouble. He just denied his own tower, so the TP support is very far away. He's getting chased down. The Vanguard will help him survive. Looks like he might make it out alive, barely, but he does. Never mind. Shadow Demon Poison was on him and gets the kill as well, as the Doom is going to take off of the Darkseer, so he is going to live. Relo is living. Shadow Demon, however, still dropped there to the Viper, and the rest is just getting the hell out of there. They can't... yeah, they can't stick around anymore. Relo actually went bottom to the tier 2. So continues farming straight away, so they get the Doom, lose the Shadow Demon, but that's a worthy trade. However, Doom did manage to deny the tower, something that, of course, is gonna help them later on along the way.
Yeah, that'll hurt hehe, because it seems at this moment, they're very reliant on getting tower gold and getting those kills. They really wanted that that Doom kill there, and they dive pretty deep for it. Reload just about gets out, and it looks like he's still possibly saving for the Radiance, actually. No, he is going Drum now, but I thought for a second he was saving for a Radiance again then, but I think in this game you just need as much early fighting capabilities you can get on the Spectre, and hope that in the late game that you don't get doomed, because that's going to be very key. Even if he out-farm them, if the Spectre gets doomed, then the Spectre doesn't do anything throughout the fight, and I don't know, I'm still very worried about the actual lineup from the side of hehe. Their play so far, they played it fairly well, considering BB have such an aggressive early game lineup that they can work with. They're heading aggressive tri-lane, and they're only down 7-10. They've got both managed to get a tower, but their game plan relies around one hero versus a Doom, and that's always dangerous.
Yeah, by the way, for people watching on the stream, I know the overlay is covering the current gold, but that's why I sometimes switch instead of net worth to current gold. We see Reload just dropping. Very solid. I mean, he didn't even have time to actually press any buttons, not even a haunt. He had stick charges as well, not able to use them either. Good gank coming out from BB, and that's lack of vision right there, because it is the top lane that gets prioritized by hehe as they try to make a go on the Doom here. Doom is gonna, however, just teleport out. Silence top, doesn't matter, they can't interrupt him because the vacuum was already used.
I like how Doom got back to base and accidentally bought a few extra bottles then.
Well, he
got back into the base and just filled his inventory with bottles. I think he was pretty worried about dying to the Orchid pop then, but yeah, I mean, TPing out there, that's just a minor mistake. HWA pretty much had to use his vacuum to help them get the kill.
Glimpse! Shadow Demon is a target, and that's gonna should be one that Shadow Demon. The Grave comes out though, might be enough at least for him to throw in a couple of punches to this Doom, who's getting sprouted in and killed off. Is going to be the Disruptor that's trying to flee as well. He is going to be able to make it out. Reload, however, not going to be so lucky. Harassed and dead. A moment, dead as well. That's 3 for 1 Doom, and they're going to get a fourth there as well. The fifth is going to get glimpsed back, and his is going to make it a team wipe. 5 for 1. Triple kill for the Viper played by Mitza. That is some painful aggression coming out from hehe, who were the ones to initiate this fight.
And what did I say? If BB get a hold of hehe and they start taking kills on them, you cannot get out of there, even with the Grave, even after they manage to save the Shadow Demon as well. Stand-in Licious comes in from the behind and just cleans up, does a ton of damage, and with the Viper sitting at the front there as well doing damage, everybody just dies. There's no way they can get out of there. Even Relo went into the trees and died.
Yeah, I mean, he tried to stay alive, but they're laying so much pressure on fighting. That's the most surprising thing. I mean, if you have got the lineup of hehe, you go for a split push, as you already mentioned. And, I mean, late game, you might be able to catch someone out with the disruption and just, you know, nuke him down with the Haunt coming in and just Prophet teleporting in, you know, that kind of stuff. But they actually actively try to find fights, which at the moment is just not possible because the Balkan Bears just have the superior fighting lineup for this stage of the game. It's just... Yeah,
the thing is, yeah, they have the capability to take out one person, but
yes,
if they overextend even slightly, which is very easy to do because, I mean, Balkan Bears can just TP onto their tower, and the Ember Spirit could be there very, very quickly. He can TP onto a tower that's very far away, fire Remnant towards them, and suddenly they're all in a very bad position, because then other people can get there in time, because Ember Spirit will keep them held down with the Searing Chains just for a few seconds. It doesn't have to be a long time. If he keeps them there just for 2 or 3 seconds, suddenly they're all out of position, they have worse heroes for fighting at this stage of the game, and they don't have the sustain to fight in a long duration fight, even with a Dazzle on their team, which is very surprising but in some ways. But, I mean, the problem is they're working with a Spectre, right? It's not a hero that does a huge amount without farm, and we're not even 20 minutes into the game yet, and they've been going very aggressive.
Yeah, and they're gonna try to catch out Relo here. He's gonna get stunned up, kinetic field, there's no way out. 4 people, they were actually smoked up, I don't think it was really needed in the end. The glimpse was a bit early as well, but doesn't matter. A kill's a kill, and it's the most important kill of the game next to maybe the Nature's Prophet, but right now, that Spectre is not a threat whatsoever. Nature's Prophet, however, is actually the highest net worth hero in the game. It's just a shame that he is more like a solo target, I'm alone on the map kinda, and split pushing your base without fighting kinda hero, and BB is prepared for that by the looks of it. They're everywhere, all the time.
Yeah, I mean, that extra net worth is nice, but to actually do damage in a fight, Nature's Prophet really does need to be way ahead on gold. I mean, at this point he's got an Orchid, and he still feels kind of weak in a 1v1 matchup versus most heroes here. So that's, I mean, just a big show of how many problems the hero has.
Oh, glimpse back, Darkseer in some trouble. In comes the ensnare coming out from the Ember. Silenced up, stunned up, killed off. Unstoppable Ember right now, who is already having one min through hammer and gonna expect to see a second one coming up soon, and at that point Desolator around the corner, and it's gonna get more and more tough for he to fight them. And I mean, that brings us back to the same point again. Why does he fight? Why do they pressure so much when it's obvious that they are at risk? I mean, Darkseer shouldn't have been there, it's just that simple. Nature's Prophet could potentially be there. He can teleport out maybe, but
it's difficult for any hero of their team to get out of there. I mean, we saw what happened on the bottom lane. They smoked up, went for the Spectre. Like you said, the smoke didn't do anything, right? They just walk into the Spectre, and she doesn't have enough time to actually just run out of there. They don't have enough time to TP out. They don't have enough time to, you know, surge out or anything. Because the initiation power on BB is so strong right now. They have Venge Stun, they have the Ember who's ultra maneuverable and can Searing Chains people, and
whoa.
Wow, zoning Doom.
That's a zoning Doom, indeed. I mean, he has a Blink Dagger, it's kind of nice. Blink Dagger Vanguard, but right now, like, how is he gonna stop this? Because they tried to split push, which is nice, but I mean, Nature's Prophet, he is nice for split pushing, but he does need more before he can actually do that successfully. So right now, obviously BB is pushing harder, and they only have 2 more towers to take down. They just went down mid, took down a tier 1 and a tier 2 in the same go. They did the same thing bottom lane, they can do the same thing on the top lane, and the amount of gold they get with that is just insane. He might have been in favor of gold for most part of this game, but this is gonna change very, very soon.
Yeah, and they're gonna go for Roshan now, and he simply don't have the team fight to back it up against this. It looks like they might actually go for this here, but Nihiz isn't TPing in yet. No, they're just gonna let them take the Roshan here. I mean, that's probably the sensible choice. You're probably gonna get 5-man wiped if you go and stop them now, but it also means that this Ember Spirit can now go absolutely ham on the enemy team. He's got a DD rune as well. He can do a ton of damage right now, and he can play very aggressively and then come back knowing he has full mana and HP.
Yeah, it's scary. I mean, maybe they were waiting for Darkseer to get his Blink Dagger before trying to go in, because with the Blink Dagger now on Darkseer, positioning, if BB makes a mistake, I mean, that Blink vacuum into wall is still very strong. But for them to actually get that off properly, I'm not sure if they can. I'm not sure if they can, because there's also going to be glimpse, there's going to be silences from the Static Storm from the Disruptor. It's going to be tougher and tougher to actually try and take a team fight, and I don't think they should go for more team fights. So with that in mind, why would you have a Blink Dagger on a Darkseer? Wouldn't it be better to also go for more pushing items instead?
Possibly, but I mean, they almost, at some point they're going to have to take a team fight, right? It's going to happen at some point, because they're not going to split push faster than the side of BB are going to go uphill as 5. And Nihiz caught out in a bad situation here.
There were no trees anymore. He kind of made them go away, and there is a observer ward right next to that, and hey, then you suddenly see Nature's Prophet farming your ancients. That's how that works. Good job, good job. I mean, so far the vision overall has just been in favor of BB most of the game, and there's some wards up, of course, for BB, with just a new one placed near the Roche pit, but with Roche already dead, that's kind of neglectable. But the vision seems to be in favor of BB. The map control is in favor of the Balkan Bears as well, and okay, you're captain of hehe. How are you gonna fix this? Because it should be fixable, but it's definitely something that needs to be fixed, because if this continues going the way it is, then he is not going to make it out alive. As there's a blink in Doom again, there's a surge coming out from the Darkseer though, making sure that Relo is going to be okay, or going to be walking into the Amber Spirit, who gets the ensnare up, and that's one dead Spectre right there. Demonic Purge still on the Amber, slowing him down, vacuum into wall. Licia still taking a lot of damage, but with the BKB turned on by the Viper, things are gonna get ugly soon. Ember's Aegis still burnt, but he's gonna be back up alive in full blazing glory. 4 are dead on the side of hehe with only an Aegis. Taken in return by hehe, and I mean, I thought that was just another zoning out Doom, but perhaps it was I'm gonna chase you into my allies' hands zoning out Doom kind of Doom coming out there.
That kind of Doom.
That kind of Doom.
That well-known kind of Doom.
They
Yeah,
actually
I mean,
completely abandoned the idea of going for the tier 1 tower. They're actually going to push tier 3. Why not? Why not?
I mean, at this stage, they're probably going to get at least one of these racks. Probably if they go for the range racks, they'll get that. It's probably pretty difficult to get the melee racks. But, I mean, Wall is down, so the biggest team fight ult for the side of hehe is down. Darkseer isn't even up yet. And that's just another example, that fight, of what happens if you get doomed, or, you know, something goes wrong for hehe. Because the Balkan Bears have ridiculous chasing power. Ember Spirit dive very hard to go in there, and with an Aegis and the support of the Viper, he's able to pretty easily pick up that hill. What, Relo? What are you doing? He went to go on the Ember Spirit then in the middle lane, but that's not happening.
No. At least they get a split push going while their Rex went down. I mean, Nature's Prophet did what he could. Took down half of the tier 3 tower. Got a kill to boot as well. I mean, he got the Disruptor, but yeah, it's not going to get easier. But the split push is where they have to get their win from, I think. I mean, that's their road to victory. Distract enemy team, get split push in with Nature's Prophet, win game. That's how they should play it. And then they still have a chance. The question is BB is going to allow that? Because the one thing that you can do to stop that from happening is, of course, kill the Nature's Prophet first. And they can set up traps, there's glimpses, there's all kinds of things that they can actually kill him off with. And I mean, very mobile hero, as we already pointed out. Nature's Prophet is not the easiest hero to play against such mobile heroes. So I'm curious to see if they can actually kill the Nature's Prophet off, or how Nature's Prophet is going to play it, because you have to be, of course, extra careful as he is farming their Ancients again. Now, they see this again, but this time they're still gonna try to go for the tier 1 tower top by the looks of it.
Yeah, at this point they've all grouped up at the top, and he's moved at just the perfect time, but like you said, they have to do this split push, they have to get the Nature's Prophet to do some serious work, they have to do it with the Spectre as well, but for them, it's walking a fine line, because they still have to both turn up at the team fights. I mean, for instance, there's an Orchid up on the Nature's Prophet. That's a huge item for this team. It's very powerful versus the, well, pretty much any hero on the team, but particularly the Ember Spirit.
Oh, they're gonna try to go in here. The Hans is already on, but in comes the kinetic field. BKB gets turned on, and it is HWA who will go down first. Actually, I say that, but there's people dropping all over the place. A mechanism comes out from BB, and doesn't even look like they fought, but that was every single thing that you can think of from he being thrown out at the Balkan Bears. And his is going to do what he can by split pushing again on the bottom lane. He actually managed to get himself a Yasha as well. We'll see how far he can get, because it's all in
he's
his
trying
hand.
to build up a Manta style. He's going full rat mode right now, but he's doing a fantastic job, right? He's still up at the top of the net worth. The team is losing pretty badly, but I mean, right now he's pressuring racks, but it's just not enough.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that he actually went. Oh, they can glimpse him back actually, or not glimpse him anyway. So that wasn't a glimpse. Spacey's still gonna go down, but so is Nahiz, and that's worth it for sure. I'm surprised he goes for the melee ranks rather than the ranged one, as you know you cannot get that in one go. So why not just go for the ranks that don't regen health? As we actually do have a go for the Viper a moment, looking for that poison. What do you think about the Dazzle and how he built his skill build is going? I mean, he opted to go for 2 points in poison.
That's I would always get at least 3 points.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising, but because normally you either max it out because you want to have that stun, or you go for 1 point because you want to have the slow. And apparently he wants to have also the 1 second 66% slow. which is the one that he went for, but it's still surprising to see him go for that, especially if you're going to be in such situations that you're going to try to chase heroes down when they're on the run from you. In that case, the poison coming out is actually a very good tool. Oh god,
Yeah, that
that's
poison's
Daedalus ready.
really underrated.
Daedalus on Ember. He hasn't died
Well-
yet this entire game, by the way. 10-0-11.
Yeah, this it was funny how at the start you said you're a little bit worried about the stand-ins, and it turns out the stand-in is an absolute badass and has been pretty much dominating this game. I mean, he has had the perfect opportunity, right? There's not much in this game that really does great against him. They've been ahead most of the time, but even so, 10-0-11, I mean, that's a pretty good score, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't be unhappy with that. I mean, he has been involved in 21 out of the 27 kills. Impressive. Impressive to say the least. Most involvement rate of the game by the looks of it. Am I saying that right? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. And poor Spectre. He's actually died most of all the people there in the game as well. I mean, he's died 8 times.
Yeah, I mean, he's the biggest target for BB because they know he's the only major threat. He's trying so hard to actually do something, but to an extent, Relo's been pretty over-aggressive this game, jumping in, you know, to situations that have been really bad. I mean, frankly, there's been disruptors behind people, and he's still jumped at them, so... I mean, it's all about just him trying to get these kills at this point. He's still farming up fairly well, considering just how much pressure he's under, and the hero he's on is particularly weak to a lot of these heroes. I mean, Ember can catch him out, the Disruptor can catch him out. I mean, yes, if Relo gets into a man fight with either of them, he'll kill them pretty fast, but probably not at this stage anymore when he's so far behind the Ember Spirit, who's... I mean, the Ember Spirit's got a Deso and a Daedalus at this point. It's looking like the beginning of the end, considering what that Ember Spirit can actually do when they go into a 5v5 team fight.
And, I mean, Balkan Bears, I find that they are fairly passive for the way this game is going. I mean, they just smoked up, didn't really find anybody, went back to their side of the map, but it feels like they're giving hehe a lot of time that I don't think they need to give. I feel like they can already go high ground with the progress that they have made so far, or however, well, actually, there's a Roshan up again. So perhaps they just want to take down the last tier 2 tower, go Rosh, go high ground, and do it in that order. However, they first have to make sure again that their lanes are actually pushed out, because otherwise Nature's Prophet is going to do Nature's Prophet things, and it's starting to get really scary when there is a naked barrack standing on your bottom lane.
Yeah, and they're trying to just split push down on the top lane as well now. I mean, the Spectre and the Nature's Prophet were up here. They're trying to punish this time where they're taking to do the Roche, but...
With the backdoor protection gone, because there's creeps in the base, this range Rex is actually dead. They actually get a Rex. And,
yeah, I mean, that
Roshan,
pretty much evens it up.
But... yeah,
And here's the scary thing is... Sorry, no, you go ahead.
No, I wasn't gonna say anything. I just almost forgot that there was actually a middle melee Rex already down. So easy to forget.
Yeah, but the scary thing is, right, is Nature's Prophet, the more space you give him, the more towers that are down, the easier his job is. The more space that he can move around, and split push becomes far easier when the enemy team is down a Rax, because one lane is constantly pushing in. You don't have to worry about doing it yourself. And, I mean, we've been talking about how Balkan Bears have been winning this game throughout it, but there's still a pretty good chance for hehe for a turnaround here.
Yeah.
It's very difficult, and I mean, I'd always rather play from ahead, but it's definitely possible for them to play this entire game from behind and still win. It's just all about whether Balkan Bears can actually focus down and kill the enemy base quick enough at this point.
Look at this, Nature's Prophet. I mean, there's no backdoor protection because top lane is pressuring in. And even though he might... he's gonna get glimpsed back. Even though he might die for it, it's fine because he stopped the push. He made sure that there's no tier 3 tower down on the bottom lane. And they only lost one hero for that rather than trying to fight mid lane, or rather trying to fight bot lane rather, and actually lose maybe 2 heroes for it. Trying to defend. Maybe it's not entirely over though, depending on... Oh wow, that hurts. The crit and the dazzle from the Slay of Fist.
That Dazzle is probably very happy he bought a point booster at this point.
Yes, I would imagine so. That hurts. Like,
because that would have killed him, but here's the thing, this is taking them a long time. Like you said, they got all dragged back, and actually, Standard Licious is taking a ton of damage just from Shadow Poison here. So,
He has an Aegis.
this push might stop soon. He does have an Aegis, but this without that, I don't think Balkan Bears have the confidence to actually go uphill, right? They waited for that Aegis specifically so they could go uphill.
Yeah. Now with Nature's Prophet dead, they don't have to worry about split push. I feel like they... Yeah, they're gonna try. They might just overextend a little bit though. Is there gonna be a Doom coming out? Actually, it's still on cooldown. The Grave keeps the Darkseer alive for a little while longer, still gets the ball off, and the Vacuum. Darkseer still goes down as well as the Shadow Demon, and the buybacks come out from both the Darkseer and the Shadow Demon. They get Mitza. That is one. Disruption coming out on the Ember. Another high priority target that they're gonna try to get, but they won't get it. Kinetic Field, Static Storm, making sure of nothing actually. It doesn't hit on anything but illusions. They kill off their illusions. Spectre is back in this, getting stunned up. Might be in some trouble there. Minus armor coming out as well from the Medallion. And that's a triple kill for Licious. Triple kill for Karak as well. Meaning that all the bot back heroes are already dead. The only one alive right now is Nahiz, who is getting gold. A lot of gold. He just entered a beyond godlike streak for 1,371 gold. That's insane. What's Spacey doing? He's gonna die as well. That's a triple kill, and he got so much gold from that. Oh my god.
What a turnaround from Nahiz. This guy, his back is so big right now. He's carrying his entire team on him.
Broad shoulders. And I mean,
he's got broad shoulders.
There's no Rex down. There's no tier 3 tower down. I mean, they might have lost 4 heroes and then 2, and like they lost 6 heroes overall in that entire fight. Three triple kills coming out, and maybe they did not kill the Doom. But oh my god, that was an amazing fight for hehe. They managed to survive. They managed to push back the Balkan Bears, and for the first time this game, they actually killed the Ember Spirit.
Yeah, they did manage to finally kill off that Ember Spirit. Nahiz must be thinking about a Rapier now, or something at this point. I mean, maybe not.
Maelstrom.
I would rather see it. It looks like, yeah, he's just going full push at this point. The start-off build that he went for didn't look like that. He picked up an Orchid at first, which is very much a fighting build. It was specifically to counter the Ember, I believe, but every other item since then has been Rat Dota, it's been Split Push, it's been be on the other side of the map, you know, doing some serious damage for everything you try to do. And that's exactly what happens. I mean, Balkan Bears, they committed to a long duration fight there. That fight took a long time because the hehe do have good defensive spells. They also brought back on the Spectre, which was, I think, a pretty key moment for them.
Yeah.
And because she was able to do a lot of damage, actually, through both the Horn and then when she brought back, she came in and did some serious damage to everybody as well. But this whole time, like you said, BB, they lost a ton. Nature's Prophet finally turned up, actually TP'd into the back of the fight, even though he just respawned and was like half a base away from them. But he gets that triple kill, and now what do BB have? They don't have their Aegis. They've lost a lot of gold. They've given a lot of gold away to hehe, particularly to Nahiz, and well, it's pretty dangerous. I think the key thing now is, does Relo manage to get time to finish his next item? Because if he does, then he suddenly becomes a lot more dangerous, and Manta Style in particular is one of those very dangerous items on the hero.
Yeah, I guess in that push, still the range tracks went down in the middle lane. That's something that BB can be happy about, but at the same time, they went into that fight with an Aegis. And they still didn't get any objectives. I mean, all the towers are still standing. As his is actually looking for something here. The Hunt comes out. He wants to go for the Doom here, as Nature's Prophet actually decides to change target. Goes for the Vengeful Spirit instead, who's trying to swap herself into safety. Can't make it happen though, but at least Doom made it out alive. He actually teleported himself back to base and is now rushing back middle lane. I think he just wants to be with his team, because I'm not sure where he's actually going to go to. I would actually say just stick top lane, because there's going to be a pushing coming. But the Balkan Bears, they really just want to get those map objectives. They want to get that tower and Rex as well, because I agree with you. If that Spectre gets more items, things are going to look bad real soon, as the Darkseer is going to come in with the Vacuum in a wall. Still gets glimpsed back into the Kinetic Field Static Storm, but makes it out alive. And the same cannot be said from the Ember, because Nature's Prophet just stands there hitting stuff, and that's all he needs to do. There's already 2 down. Wants to go for a third, gets a third, and that's going to be Spacey trying to make himself scarce there. He is going to be the last man standing here. Viper was forced to buy back, but there is only one survivor, and that is that Disruptor. And again, Balkan Bears do not take down the tower. It was close, but they don't take it down.
No, they don't manage to break that high ground fully, and Nahiz is just getting ridiculous amounts of rich right now, and he's even trying to 2p on Spacey then, it seems. No, he didn't manage to get him then, but he actually tried to TP on top of Spacey then. That was a very dangerous moment, but great timing from the side of hehe. They actually decided to come back basically as the fight had already been committed. BB, they'd already used their static storm, they'd already dropped the kinetic field, and at that point, and they'd already dropped their glimpse, so they know that hehe, they can TP into the middle of the fight, they can't get glimpse back. They've done a lot of split push. They actually took down the tier 3 tower on the top lane in the meantime, and then they come into the back of the fight, they clean up. Nahiz in particular does a ton of damage. Spectre, she does what she can, she still goes down again. I mean, that's been pretty much her life story this game, so not surprising, but hehe, just great timing actually, and great play from behind, I would say, considering how much Balkan Bears actually destroyed them early game, let's be fair.
And I mean, this is really the power of Red, right? I mean, that Nature's Prophet, we already mentioned it, he is the one to carry this game. Spectre might not have had a great game, and still is not having the best of farm, but, you know, if you drag out the game long enough with the Nature's Prophet by your side, you'll win, because Spectre is still Spectre. I mean, with time, she'll get gold, even if it's just a static gold that she gets, you know, for just being in the game. But it's getting more and more scary. I'm kind of worried for Balkan Bears, because they might just feel pressured to try again. I mean, they're gonna try Roshan again. I think that will help a lot. Perhaps they can get something off the back of that. But I feel like maybe they're gonna panic, and then they're gonna throw. Like, because that's one thing that they have to make sure of, like, keep your cool.
Yeah, I mean, they've been struggling with that anyway this game, and it looks like, I mean, yeah, they're going to get another Roshan here, but this whole time, they've actually lost a lot of map control at this point. Nahiz is pushing in the top lane, the bottom lane got pushed in very, very hard by Relo, and it looks like, I think the Spectre has actually finished her Manta style. Yeah, she's finished her Manta now, so she's becoming very, very scary, and the next item will pretty much end the game.
Yeah, that's so true. And at the same time, I mean, I mentioned it during the draft that I would really like to see Disruptor getting an Aghanims, but he is 1k gold away still. I mean, it looks like he wants to build it. And he's, of course, not giving priority of farm, because the Doom still wants more farm, the Ember wants more farm, the Viper wants more farm. So he just has to wait until it comes in, either from fights and kills, which they're not really getting anymore, or just, you know, the static gold. But they do take down the Roshan again, so they do get an Aegis. So this is their chance. Perhaps they can make something happen. The glimpse comes out, a bit early glimpse though. That's a bit awkward coming out from Spacey, but, well, at least he showed he was aggressive.
Get out of here, you.
Yeah. We
That's
mean
just what that was.
I'm surprised
he's just showing him he means business. I mean, at this point, maybe they're just thinking, you know, do we have any other chance? If we keep on going later, we're making more mistakes. I mean, their immaturity as a team and the fact that we haven't seen them before is possibly showing through now. They definitely have some serious talent, but they've struggled to end the game this whole time, and now they're just going straight down mid, but there isn't even a Rax here, so their objective, I guess, has to just be end the game now. Yeah. It has to be thrown.
Well, nope, it has to be Rax on top lane, at least to make sure the backdoor protection is gone by having creeps in the base. Well, let's see how far they get. So far, he apparently is not really sure what to do with it. They're still split pushing on the bottom lane. Are they going to try to base race this? Because that would be interesting. Nature's Prophet's actually wasting a teleport there. In comes a Doom, gets it up on the Darkseer. Swap is there as well. The stun, that is Darkseer picked off. The tier 3 tower, they ignore it. They go for the tier 4s. They're just going to try to end it. Nature's Prophet is going for the tier 4s at the same time too, but his pushing power is not as big. They get the Aegis at least. That's something. In comes the stun as well, making sure that Dazzle is forced away there. This is gonna be a game for for the Balkan Bears. The fortification actually comes out, drags it out longer. Nature's Prophet takes down the tier 4. They're both on the throne right now. It is gonna be the Balkan Bears who get the victory with a bit of a base race, which I think maybe he could have prevented, but it was the way for the Balkan Bears to do it. They ended. They shut down the red. I think that's something they can be happy about. And of course with that, by the way, I didn't notice it. Oh, there was a Rapier on the Nature's Prophet in the last moment there. But the Balkan Bears move on to the Winners Bracket Finals, which is the one that we're going to see soon.
Yeah, and great play from them. I like the way that they still, they decided to just up the tempo very, very suddenly. They ran down the middle lane, which is very aggressive and potentially a bad idea, but they didn't give enough time for hehe to actually, go around their game plan then, which was the Nature's Prophet gets the rapier and they tried to rat it out. Because I don't think they realized that Balkan Bears were just going to try and end the game then, I think they thought they were going to go for more racks and objectives and try and get mega creeps, but I mean, if they'd have done that, then hehe would have won, but...
Yep. Ballsy play
Smart
from
play
the
by
Balkan
PB.
Bears. Triple alliteration. Yay. And we're going to see the winners bracket finals. Now, of course, we are still in Group A, and we don't really know yet who the second team is that we're going to see, but it's either going to be Compass Gaming or House of Gamers. So one of those two teams will be facing the Balkan Bears, and with this game, and to be honest, really, with their name, they kind of already created some fans for themselves, and a lot of haters, because there's a lot of people that have just lost a lot of rares on Dota 2 Lounge, because most people voted for hehe, because, of course, they are the more known team. Well, shame on you for not betting for the underdog. Well, we're going to jump ourselves into the... second game of the day, second game of 3 games that we're going to see tonight. It is the winners bracket finals of Group A here for the Dota 2 Romania Spring Cup with not only Romanian teams, but it is the name of the organization. So the Spring Cup, we'll be right back with another match. Stay tuned.